Without further ado, Chris Rose, State Senator, West Virginia. I don't know why I always laugh when I get you on because you're like the rabble rouser, man. You know, West Virginia Republicans, they own everything. But I had Governor Morrisey on yesterday, and he's trying to get his 10% income tax reduction done, right? 10%. Now, you want no income tax. Morrisey wants no income tax. They want to wipe it out, but you got to start somewhere. 10%, I get it. And he's like, well, I got to get this through the House. And I'm like, well, what do you mean you got to get through the House? Like, there's like 97 Republicans and like 3 Democrats. Like, what do you mean you got to get through the House? And he's like, John, I love you like a brother, but you don't get it. Like half these Republicans in there, I mean, I don't know what they are, but like they don't want to vote for a tax increase. I'm like, you got like a 98-2 majority. I mean, Chris, what is going on here?
Well, John, what's going on is we have a lot of Democrats that switched to Republican when the MAGA red wave hit West Virginia. And Donald Trump led the charge in the national movement. The silent majority rose up and started coming out to the polls. Well, a lot of these Democrats saw that wave coming and they switched from a D to an R. And while we have defeated a lot of them in primaries, and by the way, West Virginia primaries May 12th, and the day of reckoning is coming for many more of them, the problem is we still have a lot of them entrenched. And, like you said, I want zero income tax. That's how West Virginia competes with Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Idaho, South Dakota, et cetera. But we're talking 10%. And my challenge would be, if we can't cut it entirely, how about we do 10% each and every year until it's gone? That's a fiscally responsible approach to it, right? You reduce the spending, you reduce the tax every single year, 10% until it's gone. And the sad part is that we can't even get that through this legislature. That should raise red flags going into this primary. People need to watch how people are voting on a tax cut. And on May 12th, they need to hold them accountable.
Chris Rose with us, State Senator, West Virginia. Chris, tell people again the area that you represent geography-wise.
So I represent State Senate District 2, and geography-wise, that is everything in Monongalia County except for the city of Morgantown and the 79 corridor. In Marion County, I represent everything to the west of the city of Fairmont. I represent all of Doddridge, all of Tyler, and all of Wetzel counties. I represent about a third of Marshall, which begins down near Moundsville and goes all the way up through Benwood and McMacken.
Where are you March 10th, 11th?
March 10 and 11th, I should be still down here at the legislature.
All right. I'm going to be in Morgantown those 2 days. I might have to go down and see you. We got to map out a strategy, because I was shocked when the governor told me it was touch and go to get this through. I almost fell off my chair. I couldn't believe it. So, do you have the votes for this? You have the votes in the state Senate, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct. So there's two budgets. There's the companion bills. There's a Senate bill that's a budget, and there's the House bill. There's a budget. The Senate version of this, we passed it out. We fully funded the Hope Scholarship and school choice, and also gave a 10% tax cut. The House budget is quite the opposite. It defunds school choice and doesn't have the tax cut in it. So it's a stark contrast between the MAGA-led West Virginia State Senate and the moderate-led West Virginia House. And we're going to have to fight that out. But we've told the governor we will not pass a budget that defunds the Hope Scholarship, and we're with him on holding the line on the tax cut. We will not do a veto override. We will stand strong with the governor and protect the tax cut and also protect school choice.
It's unbelievable. What is your majority in the House?
So there's 91 Republicans and 9 Democrats in the House. There's 32 Republicans in the state Senate with 2 Democrats.
And both of them were going to get. You're going to beat the guy in Fairmont when he's up in 28, and the other one. Where's the other state senator? He's up in 26.
He's up in 26, but he's not seeking re-election, so he knows he's going to lose. So he's retiring gracefully, and that's out of the Huntington area.
That's where Marshall is, right?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have a good candidate there? Can you win that seat?
Absolutely. So former governor candidate Chris Miller is actually running for that seat.
That's right. You told me that last time. You know what? I'm so mad at myself because he's a good friend of mine, and I got to get him. Yeah, he's a good guy because he ran for governor, and he actually ran a good campaign.
No, he did. I mean, between him and Morrisey, I think the policies were very similar, and I think he would have seen very similar conservative governance had he won. And I think he performed pretty well for a first time running. I mean, that's a heavy lift, first time ever running in politics for a statewide race like that, and he performed quite well.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call him today. I mean, I got a lot going on, but at some point today, I'm gonna get to him. I have his number. I have all that. I got it written down on my priority list right here. So I screwed up last week. I forgot about it. I'm gonna call him, and then in 28, I'm gonna work my tail off with you to win that seat in Fairmont, because that's where my whole offices are. So we're gonna win that seat. And who's in there? Gonzalez. Who's it?
It's Senator Garcia, and there's a lot of votes that he's taken this year that I think that we can move the needle on. He voted against constitutional carry for 18 to 20-year-olds. He thinks they can go fight in a war in the Middle East, but he doesn't believe they should have the constitutional rights here at home. He voted against calling, taking the terminology of the West Bank and honoring what Israel wants to call those, the geography. He fought against that and basically started the whole from the river to the sea speech. So there's that. I mean, he's fighting back against pro-life policies. He's been speaking pro-Green New Deal. I definitely think there's a voting record he's building in the state Senate to where we can hold him accountable in 28. There's no way that he wins re-election. I just can't see it.
Well, I tried to recruit General Mookie for that seat, but he had to move there, and he always tells me he is, and then I call him and he says, I'm still working on it. So he'd be a good candidate, but I know you guys will get somebody. I'd run, but I don't live there. Otherwise, I'd run for that seat. But I live in D.C., the safest, most beautiful city in America. When you come here, look me up. But I'm going to get to you next week. I'm going out there. We have to figure this out, map out all these seats, because I can't believe you got a 91-9 majority in the House, and you can't pass a measly tax cut for 10% out of the House. So what is going to happen?
So what's going to happen is exactly what you just said. There's a lot of interest in these primaries. And if these people don't get on board with the conservative agenda, the MAGA agenda, the Morrisey Trump agenda, then there has to be accountability. So right now they have a chance. Right now they have what Morrisey would call the path to redemption is in front of them right now. If they can get on board with conservative policies like tax cuts, West Virginia energy, supporting school choice, then he will be their friend, and so will the West Virginia Senate. But if they continue to back what we like to call the uniparty, the liberal agenda, whatever you want to call it, then May 12th is coming, and so is accountability, and that's exactly what has to happen. And it excites me to hear that you want to be a part of that, John. I know you.
Oh yeah, man. You bet I want to be a part of it. Morrisey gave me a wake-up call yesterday. And he does that to me sometimes. The guy, I have a good relationship with him. He knows how to push my buttons. I'll give him that. There's a few people that know how to do that, my wife being one of them. He just knows how to push the buttons. He got me fired up yesterday. But I'll tell you this, I backed Morrisey. I mean, I like Miller, but I backed him. And I know when he first came in, you were, kind of let's wait and see. But you got to be a believer now, right?
Oh, absolutely. So, Governor Morrisey has, he's probably the most conservative governor in West Virginia history. And I would even argue right now the type of policies he's pushing, he's as far as the best governor in the country. He's fighting Ron DeSantis for that title right now. He's being very aggressive with that agenda. Granted, Ron DeSantis was handed a Cadillac compared to Morrisey being handed a Chevette as far as how the two states were operating. But Governor Morrisey is leading the charge as far as governors, and as far as I'm concerned. He's definitely made a true believer out of a lot of us in the state Senate. I'm forever grateful that he won, and I've had a great relationship with him. And now we got to get some big wins. He's got some big ideas. He's taken some bold steps. And we have an opportunity of a lifetime here in West Virginia with the right president and the right governor. And we have to seize this opportunity because we may not get one like this again in our lifetime.
Carpe diem, right? Carpe diem. But again, I'm not saying this as a criticism, but you were like, wait and see. I mean, I was a Morrisey guy from day one. You were wait and see. I feel that my support of him early on has been vindicated. I think he's, like you said, an outstanding governor. And I love the analogy. DeSantis inherited a Lamborghini. He inherited what you call it, a Chevette.
A Chevette.
with tires that were, well, I remember when he first came in, he's like, there's no surplus. I don't know what Justice was dreaming up here. There's no surplus. Like, I'm faced with a debt. And he fixed that. But he's got a lot of energy, and but he does. I give him this. He knows how to push my buttons. He always does it. I don't know how he does it. I should be more prepared when he comes on, knowing that he's going to find something to fire me up about because he just knows how to do it. He's been doing it forever. So I'm going to get there and help you. How's your annexation plan? The worse Virginia gets, the more it's appealing to some of these counties.
So unfortunately, it did not make it through the Senate calendar in time and become law this year. Now I got to look for bills that I could maybe amend it into if it opens up the same section of code. So now is what we like to call jam session in the legislature. If your bills didn't get through, now you're looking for other bills to put them into. But the appetite from Virginians that are reaching out to West Virginian legislators and the governor's office and et cetera is growing. What you and I predicted would happen after that election is coming to fruition. More counties in Virginia are screaming for help. More citizens in Virginia are screaming for liberty. They're screaming for that lifeline. They're begging. And some of them are already moving here on their own. But in the meantime, the ones that are left behind are begging for us to throw that lifeline across and bring them to freedom. And so that idea is not dead. I've been talking to the governor's office, been talking to my colleagues. That appetite is only going to grow as far as Virginia keeps going to the left. This movement only continues to grow. And in the meantime, I'm working with the Greater Idaho movement to get this same legislation, the same constitutional loophole, if you will, because it's been done twice in American history. Now I'm trying to get it to grow legs out there because their session hasn't started yet. And if we can get the movement now going out there with California, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, maybe then we have more momentum for this next year. Unfortunately, sometimes great ideas take more than one session to get through because, as you know, we're a part-time legislature. We're not, like Congress is full-time, we're not. So you only have a small window to get these things done. But it's like, for example, I wanted no income tax last year. No tax cut happened last year. But I was very loud and vocal, as you call me, a rabble rouser, and that's okay. I'll own it. I proudly wear that. But by doing that, we now have a discussion of a 10% tax cut this year. So there is merit in people like me pounding the fist on the table, so to speak, and making the noise in the wilderness because we're getting attention and we're getting heard. That's exactly what we're going to continue to do with this bill as well.
Boy, you guys have come a long way, and you're right. I mean, it didn't go anywhere last year, but you kept at it. Now you got it. And so, what happens if the House bill passes with no income tax cut? And I can't believe they're not funding the Hope Scholar. I don't know what the hell's going on in there. So that passes, and they only need 51 votes. So 51 minus 9, they need 42 out of 91 Republicans to pass their stupid bill budget. What happens then? You can't reconcile. It goes to crossover, and then what the hell do you do?
So that House bill is now in the Senate's possession. They have already passed that. They already passed a budget that defunded the Hope Scholarship with zero tax cuts in it, and the spending was terrible as well. So we now have possession of their bill. They have possession of our budget bill. So if we don't reach a compromise, it'll go to what we call a conference committee, which we'll take 3 senators into, and they'll take 3 members of the House of Delegates into, and we'll try to hash this out. But in the meantime, Governor Morrisey has enough support in the West Virginia State Senate. We will not send him a budget without a tax cut, and we will not send him a budget that guts the Hope Scholarship and hurts school choice.
Okay.
We have 19 strong.
Walk us through this. It's going to go to conference. Who determines who's in this? Who are the 6 people in the conference committee?
So the Senate president will pick the 3 state senators, and the Speaker of the House will pick the 3 delegates.
What will the Speaker do? Pick conservatives or RINOs?
He will probably pick RINOs going off his history.
And one will be a Dem, probably, right?
One will be a Dem. So actually, the way this works, if there is a member of a minority party in your chamber, one of the 3 does have to be a member of that party.
So you get 1 Dem in the Senate out of your 2, 1 Dem out of the 9 in the House. They'll go to the conference committee. You're not going to agree because the bills are polar opposites, right? So, and you got to have a budget. So if you can't get out of there, how are you going to mend this together? Because they're polar opposites. So the bill is just there sitting in conference, and then what happens?
So what will happen is, the state Senate will probably pick 2 of its strongest members to go. And it takes, so you have 3 members of the Senate, 3 members of the House. 2 out of the 3 in the same chamber have to agree to the changes in conference or the bill does not come out of conference. So this happened when Jim Justice first became governor of West Virginia. When the Republicans first took charge and Jim Justice was governor, it took 2 months after session to get the first budget approved because of the fight, right? It was a lot of infighting. Right. Democrats still had more of a say then. So it took a while. This is setting up to be a very similar scenario. I wouldn't be shocked if we have an extended session to fight this out over the budget.
And that, okay, but if you say you're not going to send the budget to the governor without Hope Scholarship or a tax cut, so then there is no budget.
That's correct. So what things would do in the meantime is work off the fiscal numbers from last year. Everything would be continued to be funded as of last year's fiscal numbers, right? That's what the good news is. The fiscal year starts July 1st, so everything's going to be fully funded up to then anyway. But in the worst case scenario, we're still, let's just say July 1st, we're still fighting this budget. Then everything would still be funded based off last year's numbers. And we would still, then the budget would take effect when it would be agreed upon. So it's not like, okay, we got the state roads, they're out there working on roads.
All right. So worst case, let's go worst case scenario. And I'm almost out of time. This is fascinating. Thanks for coming on. And I know sometimes it's like, how does this sausage made? Worst case scenario is you have no budget and you work off of the 20, I guess it would be the fiscal 25 budget through fiscal 26. Then you beat a bunch of these RINOs in May. They seat in January, and then you get your budget passed and you do it the right way. That's your worst case, right?
That's the worst case. I think the governor's even prepared for that as well. And I'm not trying to make a threat to any member of the legislature, but I do think the governor is wanting people to work with them. And quite frankly, the MAGA senators are as well. And I think the voters, you're seeing what happened in Texas last night. I know you're almost out of time, but the voters want conservative policies. They want America first, MAGA policies. Bingo.
I told this to Morgan Griffith a couple of minutes ago. Dan Crenshaw, he's a 3-4 term incumbent. He got crushed by a conservative state senator that cruised back. The only guy that Trump didn't back, he got beat by 20 points. He got crushed in his own district as an incumbent, and he outspent the guy. And then Paxton, there's no way Paxton doesn't win this runoff, not with Wesley Hunt getting 13% of the vote. So see ya, Johnny. That's gone. But I have to go. But there's a young lady that called me for a campaign donation. She used to be the comms director for Riley Moore. She's running somewhere around my area. Is she one of us?
So I don't know her that well. So we have the same last name, but we're not related. So she's someone I don't know very much about. I know she's from Virginia. I think she has some ties to Eastern Panhandle, has some family there. But,
Eastern Panhandle.
Katie Rose, I believe, is her name. I don't
Katie
know
Rose,
very well.
that's it. Yeah. Well, why don't you flush her out? She asked me for a campaign donation, and I actually said to her, well, let me talk to Chris Rose and find out. She seems like it. I love Riley Moore. I'm a big fan of his, so she worked for him. So check her out and get back to me, and I'll see what I can do. But I'm going there next week. We'll hook up by Zoom or something. I'm not sure I can get out to Charleston, but especially in the middle of this war. We'll hook up and we'll get a map and go over everything, right?
All right, sounds like a plan, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right, if you were in Fairmont, I'd take you to dinner at, where's my favorite place again? Oh, it changed names. It's now something else, whatever it is. I'll take you there the next time you're in. Senator Chris Rose, people want to follow you. Where do they go?
They can follow me on social media at Chris Rose WV, and they can go to chrisrosewv.com. All
right. Chris, good to have you with us. Thanks for that insight. Always good to have you. I'm going to start a West Virginia thing. I don't know what I'm going to call it. It's not going to be 6 to 10 a.m. We're going to do a different time, but it's going to be fun, and you're going to be right there in the middle of it. Rabble-rouser, Chris Rose. Chris, thanks for being with us. The Virginia, I'm sorry. I'm getting all mixed up. Tell Morrisey to stop pushing my buttons. Who's up next? Peach Crew is next. I'll be right back.